is the attempted crucifixion of Joe Rogan. So more than 100 episodes have vanished from Spotify. Now, they'd been doing this a lot since Joe Rogan went exclusively over to Spotify. They had been kind of removing certain episodes here and there. And this one has me a little bit pissed off because they've tried everything to cancel Joe Rogan. Everything they can. When he moved over to Spotify, he's a nobody. I mean, him going to Spotify is a big mistake. Now he's not going to have any influence at all. Well, that didn't work. Then they tried saying he was taking horse dewormer, which was a lie. He did take ivermectin as a part of a COVID treatment plan that his doctor prescribed, but it wasn't horse dewormer. So he really should have sued CNN for that. That's really how that should have worked out. But now they've decided to dig in deeper, and they went back and found out. Now, remember, Joe Rogan, first and foremost, is a comedian. He's been a comedian for as long as I've known, so he's going to push the boundaries of things. So they found some instances on his podcast where he used the N-word, or some other racial slurs. Well, to be honest, I don't care. And I don't think anybody using that word, I think words like that should be viewed in their context. Not just, did he say it? If you're quoting somebody else that said it, obviously that's not a big deal. Especially if you're a comedian, if you're telling a joke, if you have a joke and that works better with the N-word as a part of it, obviously that's fine. I mean, I've gone to comedy shows where it's not just black people using that; it's Asians and a lot of white people, Hispanic people. They use that word because they know that it makes people uncomfortable, and then they can twist it to create a solid punchline and get that laugh. And yeah, I mean, I think we really need to address that. So him going and, he said it in the past while either quoting other people or using it as comedic material, that's not a big deal. But Joe decided, hey, I get it. That's not okay to say that. It's never really been okay to say that. So let's go ahead and we'll remove those episodes because of that. Well, that's where Joe made his mistake. He needed to. You never apologize to these people because here's the thing. Yeah, Joe Rogan said the N-word. Okay. When is Spotify going to start removing Dr. Dre? Are they going to get rid of Dre? Are they going to cancel Dre and Snoop, Eazy-E, all the death row guys from back in the day? How about Eminem? Eminem started his whole career, his whole first album, and I think his first 3 albums are just loaded with homophobic slurs. So when are they going to start getting rid of those? I mean, it's maybe a good time for the NFL to address that, considering Eminem, Snoop, and Dre are all going to be performing at the halftime show. Are we going to cancel all 3 of them? I doubt it. So I think it's completely disingenuous to be looking up Joe Rogan's past, use of the N-word, especially a comedian. I just don't get it. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous what they're doing to him. And I mean, even The Rock came out and said, "Hey, I'm Joe Rogan's a friend of mine. I stand by him." And then he got a little bit of pressure that, Joe Rogan has used the N-word in the past. And The Rock turned straight into a bootlicker. I've lost almost all respect for The Rock because he has gone from somebody who is the greatest person on the mic, I think, in history. Anybody, not just in professional wrestling. I think just great on the mic in general. You put a mic in front of him and he is perfect. He never screws up. He's just great. So, but he's he's somebody that if you put the screws to him a little bit, he'll back down, he'll cower, and he'll lick your boots for you. So I'm kind of devastated that The Rock is such a pussy. You wouldn't think someone that's, like 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds would be such a pussy. I find it kind of hard to imagine that, but apparently he is. When it comes to cancel culture, I think the best thing that we can do is learn from history. So it is important that, especially Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan, he really should have learned from history on this. If he had learned how, because all of these people are just communists. The people trying to get people like Joe Rogan canceled are just communists. They may not know it, but they are. They're communists, they're fascists, whatever euphemism you want to use for totalitarianism, that's what they are. Ronald Reagan won the Cold War, to simplify it, by doing three things. He incessantly mocked communism, especially the Soviet Union, but communism in general. He had no problem with mocking Cuba and other types of other forms of communism, but he didn't suffer communism at all. He just didn't suffer fools, and he made sure to consistently mock them. You can go online and you can find compilation videos of his communism jokes. Like he would actually go and get jokes that they actually told in the Soviet Union among themselves, and he would share them around the world. He would share them with the other world leaders, and I think even Gorbachev had actually said that he said, yeah, that actually did not help in keeping our country stabilized. Also, he never apologized to these evil bastards. He called them out for what they were. They were evil. They were an evil empire. And I think people like Joe Rogan, people that have that kind of clout, need to come out and say, no, fuck you guys. Like, Joe Rogan should not have been making videos about, I can see where you're coming from, and I really appreciate the support, and I understand the people that are against me, blah blah blah. No, he should have just summed it up with 3 words: go fuck yourself. And I think that might have hurt him in the short term, but I think in the long term, it just would have made them realize, I'm not going to apologize for having conversations with a variety of people to learn new things and learn different takes on different narratives. That's not a bad thing. That is actually what makes America great. And he should never have apologized for it. That was his main thing. He did not apologize. Reagan never apologized, and neither should Joe Rogan. And then Reagan always implied mutually assured destruction. You never come out and say, I will destroy you, but you can always say, look, I can play your game. Never back down. Always go on the offense. Always. Do not allow these sons of bitches to get to you. You need to make sure that you know that it's their asses on the line too. And that's something that works against modern communists now. Do not apologize to the mob. You have to have the backbone. You have to be able to stand up to these people. Ronald Reagan said something that was very important. Freedom is only one generation away from slipping away. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. It is not a birthright. You have to fight for it all the time. Now, you don't have to fight physically, and you should always pray that you're not going to have to fight for it physically. You need to fight for it in any way you can. And this is something that people like Joe Rogan with that kind of influence need to understand their value, not just from a dollar perspective, but their value as to society as a whole, to the greater good. I hate that term, but they have a great value that they can use. They have a lot of political capital, so to speak, that they can dip into and say, you know what? I'm taking a stand here. And people who don't agree with Joe on a lot of things, I think the only political belief I agree with Joe Rogan on is the Second Amendment. So I think that's really it. I'm not sure of any other one. I mean, he's pro-choice. I'm pro-life. I think he has said he doesn't mind paying higher taxes. I don't think there should be an income tax. So yeah, there's a lot of things I don't agree with Joe Rogan on, but his promotion of free speech, which is huge, it's under attack in the worst way I've seen in my lifetime, it really, he's that valuable to society, and it needs to be something that he's aware of.